So we are in 2026, which means it's time to remake my Neovim config. So let's remove and remove. For this config, we are gonna use Bob. We don't have Bob. So Bob is basically a Neovim version manager. Bob and Vim. Okay. So we can install it with this command. Make sure to not have Neovim installed, and then install Bob. Then we need to add it to our path. So export path home. I don't remember the path. Local bin. Okay. Local bin path. So if we source and do Bob, we have Bob. Okay. Now we need to install the nightly version of Neovim with Bob install nightly. And with Bob list, we have, what is that? Bob uninstall nightly 03377B9. Okay, Bob list, Bob whatever, Bob use nightly. Okay, so now we are using nightly. If we run nvim, we are on version 0.12. So now, why are we using the nightly version? Basically, it has a built-in package manager, and it's easier to set up the LSP config and autocomplete. So we can add it in Lua and we can start configuring. So first thing, leader. So we can set it to space. Then I'm gonna use relative numbers. If you want to, you can use normal numbers with the number equals true. Let's source it. We can source this with SO. Now I want to disable line wrap. I want my tabs to be 8, and like that's it, I think. These are the basic options. Now I want to set up the plugins. For that, we can do bin.pack.add, which is the built-in package manager for Neovim on version 0.12. Basically, we can do source equals, I'm gonna start with the theme. I'm gonna use Tokyo Night for this one. So folk Tokyo Night.nvim. Then we can do this, and okay, that's because of that local share nvim. No, fuck. Neovim init.lua. I should have installed the plugin. So color scheme Tokyo night. Okay, that's basically how you install plugins on this. To remove the you don't need to do this. It's only because of my old config. It's not it's like corrupting. I'm just gonna use it like this. Okay, let's by default set the color scheme to Tokyo night. Okay, now another plugin, we need to have the LSP. So let's set the plugin for LSP config with https github.com Neovim LSP config, and it should show a warning here, a prompt asking to install it. I'm actually gonna make a function that I had in my old config to clear the plugins that are not being used. I'm not gonna explain this in depth. You can find it in my dot files. But that's basically the function. So if I do back clean, actually let's do vim.keymap.set in normal mode, leader PC, and we can do back clean. This should work. I don't think I need this. So PC, remove unused plugins, remove. Okay, now it should be nice. Okay, we have installed LSP config and we need to enable it for whatever language servers you want. So we can do, for example, vim.lsp.enable. Let's say, which one should we enable here? Let's do Lua, since we are configuring. Init.lua. Okay, so we should have, yes, there we go. We have LSP working, and for easier configuration, I can just like define a variable with a table here. So length Lua ls time mist for types by rights and map for goal, and I think that's it. Now I can look for server in my pairs servers, do vim.lsp.enable server, and why is, oh, I forgot about this. You can see that there's like shifting going on here. The content, it's moving when I type. That's the sign column. You can fix that with vim.o.sign column equals yes. Now it should be fixed. There we go. So yeah. What else do we need? Oh, you can also set the border of pop-ups with vim.o.win border equals rounded. Now we have this border around the floating window, which is pretty nice. So I think the next plugin I need is let's do mini. github.com/nvim mini.nvim. So mini basically is an all-in-one. So I'm gonna use only some features which are the fuck was that? Okay, whatever. I'm gonna use the file picker mini.pick setup. Pairs. What else? Surround and status line. So these are properly set up. I think we can surround maybe servers here with parentheses. Then we have auto pairs and we can delete and the status line is there. Okay, now another plugin, maybe which one? I'm gonna set up oil, I think, for browsing files. github.com/ Steve arc oil.nvim. So require oil.setup, and for configuring I'm gonna do columns equals permissions icon, and then I want to show hidden files. Okay, I'm gonna do some key maps now. First, formatting. vim.keymap.set normal mode leader left .lsp.buff format. Then vim.keymap.set normal mode leader e oil with carriage return. Let's place these here. So attempted call line 19. Oh, that's setup. Right, now we can do this with leader E. Let's see, and then for the formatting, let's like delete this and this. If we do leader LF, it's formatted. Perfect. Now for mini keymaps, keymap.set normal mode leader F for finding files. So pick files, and I'm gonna have one for help, grep, and buffers, grep life, and Now leader F, you can pick files. Leader H, help. Leader G, we can grep. And leader B, we have the buffers. That's perfect. Now we can, what am I doing? Okay. Next, let's set up maybe blink CMP for autocomplete. Sagan blink.cmp. We can require. Do we have to require? Yes, we do. I think, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Require blink.cmp. Let's set up. And then just set the fuzzy implementation to prefer rest. And then now we should no fuzzy. Okay, right, so let's build it. Where do I find this? I guess local share Neovim site pack core opt blink cargo build release. This should fix it if I understood what happened here. Okay, there we go. So now we have autocomplete for these servers here. So we can do main.c for example, and we have autocomplete. But since there's no, for example, JavaScript, if we do JS, there's no autocomplete. Perfect. So for JavaScript, I think it's TSLS. I don't know, I don't use it, and yeah, that's it. I don't need it. Now I want the terminal. So for this, I'm gonna use ToggleTerm, which is a plugin for basically having a terminal in Neovim, which there already is if you do term, but it's not really that good. I don't like it. For toggle term, I can do require toggle term. Let's set up. I can set the open mapping to control backslash direction equals float. And now if we do control backslash, we have this terminal here, which is very nice. Next, source equals, what else? Rust, yes, Rust. github.com/mrcjkb rustasia engine. This is a plugin specifically for Rust. development, which I use quite a lot, so I'm gonna use it. This one doesn't need any requiring, so I guess if I go to let's see, 7 Neovim source main.rs, and then I do, yeah, we have LSP working for BG, yeah, it's working properly. So the what else do we need? Diagnostics, of course. https github.com/folk-trouble.env. This is for diagnostics. Just require trouble.setup, and then we can add some key maps. vim.keymap.set, normal mode, leader kill. It's trouble diagnostics toggle. So leader kill, we have all the warnings and errors in the file, which is very nice. Last thing, some people like to have system clipboard synced with Neovim. For that we can set some key maps like this. This works in normal, visual, and visual block mode. Leader Y, so if you want to yank into the system clipboard, we can just do leader Y. Source, so if I yank this and then do Ctrl V, it doesn't paste what I yanked. If I do space Y and then I do Ctrl V, it works. Then the same thing for delete. And I think that's basically what we need. Maybe git sign. Source equals https github.com Lewis 6991 git signs.env format, and setup with require git signs dot setup signs equals add equals text equals plus change. It's gonna be a maybe this. Delete, we can do underscore. Top delete, maybe just slash. Change delete. Also this. Okay, so source. There we go. What else am I missing? I think that's basically what I have right now. I don't think I'm missing any plugins. And I'm gonna do a demo. So, for example, let's make a project like, I don't know, hello, make it C, stdio.h, int main. Let's say we do the wrong thing here. Then let's do print f. Then %d. Let's forget the the thing here, so %p x. So we can see that there's errors. For this we can just fix it with surround, so surround replace. This one we have to add this, and then define x with int x equals 10. Boom, format, boom. Then we can just compile it and run it, and there we go. This is basically my setup. Maybe I could try new color scheme, so let's use the craftsdog solarized Osaka.engine. Source HTTPS. What happened here? I think that's the correct URL. No? What the hell just happened here? I mean, it seems correct. Huh. Let's exit and then solarized, unable to read HTTPS function add. Huh? Okay, I guess. Color scheme, solarized Osaka. Nah, it's not really my thing. Yeah, let's just go back to this. So that's my config. It's pretty simple, single file, 100 lines. We can do back clean. Actually, let's do this source back clean. Yes, boom. Init.lua. And I guess this is my setup for 2026. Yep. Bye.